Well, yeah, I mean, what you mentioned, the core of what you mentioned, which came to me very, very, very heavy-handedly as a vision, actually as part of my own realization back in 1973. I saw that my experience, the entirety of my experience, my entire world, the entire universe that appears as my experience and as me, is like a bubble. This bubble right here that's floating here. And everything appears in it, Right now this computer appears in it, this conversation we're having appears in it, the room I'm in appears in it, everything, the thoughts I'm thinking appear in it, everything and anything, the light in the sky outside the window appears in it, everything appears in it, and it's all in this bubble of my experience. And where is that bubble? What's that bubble in? What's holding it up? What's it sitting on? This bubble is just floating nowhere, but it's not a nowhere because it's not nothing. It's not, it's not imaginary. It's actual. This is really here. This bubble of my experience is right here, very palpably and very obviously, and it's floating in reality itself, which is nothing other than reality itself. You can just think of it as infinite space or nothingness or whatever you want. But it's not just an abstract image. It's palpably the sort of geometry of what is here. And this bubble of my experience isn't sitting on anything. It's not resting on anything. It's easy to ordinarily think that, my experience, rests, it depends on my body, and my body is just resting on the earth. But we don't take it far enough and say, yeah, what's the earth resting on? The earth is just a bubble floating in infinite space too, isn't it? So in a way, the patterning holds true. But if you look closely and forget these theories of experience depending on the body, it's the other way around. The body depends upon experience. The body appears because it appears in your experience. And to suppose that, but experience appears because it's coming from the body is just a theory. It's a hypothesis. Maybe it's coming from this Kleenex, maybe this is where experience is coming from, who knows. But where it's coming from or not, whatever kinds of theories you want to have, the actuality is this actual, undeniable, observable presence, this presence of this bubble of experience, of your experience that contains everything, and that you're the sole inhabitant of. And what's it in? What's this bubble in? What's it sitting in? Where does it come from? And just feeling that, feeling that geometry, feeling that the space of that. It is liberating, and it can give you chills because it's very contrary to the normal way of thinking. It's very common during the course of yoga to have certain parts that are threatening or upsetting or disturbing or perturbing, because what one discovers is very contrary to one's usual way of thinking of things and one's usual way of orienting oneself. And so this can provoke fear responses and insecurity of, oh my God, I'm going to lose everything I rely on, my stability and my being able to function, and all of these other things that we think we're doing. But during the course of yoga, one discovers that all of this is just miraculously present. All of this is just miraculously doing itself, and that is actually the real security and the ultimate security. But it's in a very different context of security than the imagined security of the person, where, I'm secure now because I'm not deathly ill, and because there's no one with guns banging at the door, and because I'm semi-functional and I'm a good liar or whatever, I can fake it, pretend I'm paying my taxes and all these sorts of things. That creates a sort of a facade of security that one imagines one has in the material world. But the very material world is only an apparition in the bubble of this this consciousness that is my true nature, that I actually am, and where's that coming from? And that mystery is the true security. That mystery is the true context, and it's completely liberating from all of that, dependent and problematic mishmash of guesswork that we usually use to decide what we are and what's going on here, and try to hope that we're secure within that context.